Okay, let's continue with the second part of our English Fest today. The second topic this morning is about the personal characteristics and skills you need to study abroad. And we have invited 4 teachers of English and former scholars graduated from this university, from our program. And they're going to talk and share their experiences as former scholars in different countries and from different points of view, considering personal characteristics and the abilities they needed to face that scholarship, okay? Jimena?
Yes, we welcome Ms. Camila López, and I'll start with the projection of your visual support.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Camila, you graduated from school in 2008, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, great. So, welcome and thank you for coming too.
Thank you for inviting me. Okay, perfect. Shall I begin? Yes? Okay, perfect. So this is a very nostalgic topic to me. And one thought that stayed with me after I came back, I studied in Canada, by the way. One thought that stayed with me was, is it possible to fall in love with an experience in the same way you fall in love with a person? Because that's how it happened to me. I really, really can say that I fell in love with this experience with studying abroad. And that's something that I wanted to share with you. It has been by far the best experience of my life. But as Ms. Ruth said, it's just not something that is hanging on the trees, right? You need to work hard to get it. So now I'm going to kind of briefly explain, because of time constrictions, the skills that you need to do that. According to my personal experience, I studied in Canada, in Victoria, University of Victoria in 2018. I finished the English program here in Universidad de La Serena, but I didn't graduate, sorry. So that means that I didn't pay for my degree. So I went when all of my subjects were already finished and completed. So that's something that I did. When I was asked to talk about the core academic characteristics that students need to have to study abroad, the first thing that I could think of was discipline, for sure. And you need to know that you don't become a disciplined student overnight. This is something that you need to work from day one, and you finally put it to test when you travel abroad. It's not something that you will say, oh, I will become a disciplined student once I get the scholarship and once I'm there and I'm studying abroad. That's sadly not how it works. You need to really find a balance in your life here in Chile between your social life and schoolwork and yourself, your personal life, to be able to travel abroad and not just give up or to indulge into all the beautiful things that you're going to see in another country. Of course, you're going to enjoy it, but you need to have enough self-control to say, okay, today I'm going to study and I'm going to fulfill this. So discipline is something that you need for sure. And you need to work on it every day. The second thing that I would say is a core academic characteristic is active listening. And when I say active listening, I mean putting all of yourself active in the moment of listening, especially to your teachers. That means asking questions, asking for clarification, asking all of the questions that you have inside your head. You need to actively be listening to be able to ask later, to ask for feedback. And I cannot stress this enough. You really need to appreciate and take in that feedback, that those comments from your teachers. Those comments are going to be so useful, so useful. I cannot stress this enough. Here in Universidad de La Serena, in this program, but also abroad. And that is very linked with the third point, that is frustration tolerance. Yes, this is a wonderful experience and this is awesome. And just like falling in love, you have this wonderful view, but you will have an instance in which you say, it's not like I thought, but that's okay. You need to be able to see that and believe that it's not the end of the world either. You're going to have difficulties, but you're going to be able to overcome them. So breathe, it's going to be okay. So if you get your first grade and it's not an A like you were used to have in your program here, it's okay. It's okay. Read the comments, ask the questions, go to the teacher and say, how can I improve my work? And tolerate it, learn and grow from that experience. I cannot stress this enough either. You need to tolerate frustration and grow from it. And the fourth point that I'm going to refer here is ambition. And I'm not talking about Julius Caesar ambition here. I'm talking about another type of ambition. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And I would say, honestly, that's the first step. When I was applying or even thinking about applying to go to Canada and study there, I knew that I had good grades. That's true. But there is a personal sense to it too, to believe that you can actually do it because of who you are. And you are more than just your grades. That's something that you need to know. You are more than just that one insufficient grade that you had in one subject. It's okay, you're more than that. So when I talk about ambition, is believing in yourself and setting yourself realistic goals. That's true. But still know that you can do it, that you can do it. When I applied, you won't believe this, but I had never been to an airport before. When I traveled to Canada, I had never been on a plane before, not to travel to Santiago or any other place. That was the first time that I encountered an airport and security and how much does my bag need to weigh and all of that. So to me, it was like, yes, I need to get to the other side of the world, but I need to believe that I can do it. And I want to achieve good grades and I want to come back and say that it was great. So in that sense, you need to have ambition. And there are many other things that I could have said here, like, of course, responsibility and connecting to what Ms. Ruth said, being brave and all of that. But I think that these four things can sum it up. That's with the core academic characteristics. Can we continue? Thank you. So I would like to talk now about the key aspects from our program, our teaching program. Now that I know that, or that I remember that you changed the curriculum, maybe you will find some things a little bit different, but still I think it's kind of the same. Maybe you will see the same things in other subjects, but I'm pretty sure it's still the same. So English proficiency. I need to say this very clear. I had absolutely no problem with my English when I traveled. I actually got a lot of compliments. And all of that, it's because of the solid background that our teachers, in my case, my former teachers, gave me at the time. My English proficiency was definitely enough to listen to a lecture, write an essay, talk to my teachers, talk to different people, make friends even. So I have absolutely nothing to say, but actually to say thank you in this instance. Now that I have you all here, my former teachers, thank you very much. Because if there was one thing I was not worried about, was my English. I was pretty confident on that, and I think I did pretty good. That's one thing. But of course, you need to study. You need to actually study and try to do well on your test. So as I said, your skills in English is not something that you just learn overnight. You need to develop them each day. Secondly, we have the usage of higher order thinking skills. And by this, I mean that yes, you need to remember and identify or describe some things from the program, but that's not enough. It's not enough to just remember or say, oh yes, the definition of this is blah, 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 or this is a part of speech. Right, but you need to know how to apply that. You need to know how to connect the dots. That's extremely important to do well in another country and to take another subject. You need to be able to compare and contrast. You need to be able to defend and to criticize any topic. You need to be able to create new things from given information. So it's completely necessary that you don't just stay in what is given to you as information. What can you make of that? You need something else. That is extremely important. Needless to say, that is also what we look for when we're teaching English in school. We don't want students to remember only. We want students to use the language for them, to do something different, something new, right? Then we have high demanding tasks. And between brackets there, I put, sorry guys, it's true. You need to be thankful of those long or very difficult tasks that your teachers give you in university, because they're going to be very, very useful. I can remember right now, I'm not sure if Miss Nidia is here. No? Miss Nidia is Lump? No? But I remember that she used to give us some tasks in which we needed to read some papers and then come up with a summary of it, or criticize it, or support it, or make the connection with another text. And that was very, very demanding for me. I remember at the time when I was reading, I was thinking, what am I going to do with this in the future? Right, maybe the exact information, I don't remember it right now, but the ability to read and connect is very important. The ability to know that you can do something very difficult is going to help you when you study abroad. So don't just try to fulfill the minimum and just deliver the task. Try to do your best always in that sense, because it's going to pay off later in the future. And then we have the topics studied in class. So everything we talked about in this course with Miss Sandra, with Miss Kovo, with Miss Mariam, with Miss Vesna, also I remember, we talked about so many things, and it's a whole body of knowledge that you're accumulating about feminism, about the environment, about history, about the things that you study in literature. Right now, I'm a literature teacher working in the international school, so I cannot say how important that has become for me. But the whole body of knowledge that you're accumulating through the years is going to be very, very useful when you study abroad, regardless of the subjects that you decide to take. It's going to be very, very important, even when you're trying to talk to another person, or with your teachers, your professor, or when you're talking to a native, you know stuff from different subjects. That's very important. We can continue. Here, I made a little chart trying to establish some comparisons between Universidad de La Serena and UVic. Well, in Universidad de La Serena, I just wrote subjects, the ones you know, because I thought it was the same program, but you see the same stuff, right? And the subjects that I personally took in UVic were language, gender and sexuality, technology, innovation in the classroom, and second language phonology. The first one, I took it because there's actually nothing like that here. I would say even in the region, nothing close to language, gender, and sexuality. So that was something that I was very interested in taking personally. Technology innovation in the classroom has come very in handy during the pandemic, for sure. I feel very prepared for that. And second language phonology was like phonetics, but more specific. You really need to see the type of subjects that you're going to take. I personally had finished my program, so I had the freedom to choose what I wanted in that sense. But you need to see when you're going to travel and the things that you're going to choose. The methodology, I would say that in university, the first years, at least when I studied, it was like even quinto medio, if I can say it like that, because you still had your teacher as your guide, and it was very structured, and it followed almost the same structure as a class in high school. You are given the step-by-step, you were presented the content, and you will take a test or do something regarding that. That is completely different to studying abroad, completely different. So I was sitting there waiting for the teacher to just start the class, maybe with a PowerPoint or something. No, you don't have to expect something like that. In my case, at least, we had long lectures, free lectures. The teacher would just go on and on. Of course, you could interrupt them and ask questions and all of that, but it was a lecture. It's different. It's different. The learning was way more autonomous in that sense. I needed to figure out what was important for me to learn and how I should learn it and where to go and find the right resources for me to study. That's something that you need to do. And that's something that you should be doing right now with the classes that you have right here. And you have less guidelines, you have more freedom. And that can be great, that can be awesome. But at the same time, at the beginning, you might feel a little bit lost. And it's okay to ask. It's okay to ask. At the same time, you need to have that critical thinking skill of saying, what does the teacher want me to do? What should I learn from this? What should I create? What's the objective? That's something that you need to start asking yourself. Language proficiency, it was demanding and complex. The tasks were useful. I already said this. And language proficiency in UVic, I did not encounter any problems when speaking or writing. It was great. Of course, I had grammar mistakes. Of course, I had stuff to improve. I learned a lot, but nothing that I could say, oh, I cannot be understood. No, nothing like that. I learned a lot. My level of achievement in Universidad de La Serena, I would say it was great. I am very satisfied, at least with what I did when I was in university. And I'm very satisfied with the level of achievement I got studying abroad. As I said, I completely fell in love with studying abroad. And Ms. Ruth, I probably contact you because I want to do it again. I would love to do it again. I think it's really something that everybody should experience, that makes you grow as a person. So yeah, those are the things that I have to say about studying abroad. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Yes, Miss Camila, thank you so much. If you have any questions for her, we will ask you to write them down in the chat, and we'll ask them to the teacher after our next guest.